Bonjour, je m'appelle Madame Hidel. I'm going to look at my script sometime, so bear with me here. Welcome to French Language and Culture. It's the spring course for 2017. I just wanted to take a minute and welcome everyone to the course and go through a few basics for the first week so nobody feels lost. You are in the news area. I posted this video in the news area, and I want to make sure that you scroll down and look at the other announcements in the news area and the video that's at the bottom, because that has some key vocabulary to get you going in the course. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I teach French at Chippewa Valley School in Connecticut, and I also sometimes teach the online course for German. In the school, I work with the English learners, actually in our region. So those are my different roles, and I've been teaching this course for a few semesters, and I tweak it every time in between. So if you ever find a link that's not working or something that doesn't seem to be where it's supposed to be, just let me know, because it is possible that I made a change and not all the changes were put into place as planned. So my background as a language teacher is that I've done a lot of exchange programs and I've lived in different places. You can read about that in the widget that's on the homepage as well on the left. But I went in high school on a very intensive study abroad summer program in France, and that really helped cement my French. And then I also did a gap year in Germany. And then when I went to college, I spent a year, study abroad year in Strasbourg, France. Then when I graduated, I moved to France and lived in Paris for several years, and then later moved to Germany, and I lived there. I'm getting off script, so let's make sure I'm saying everything I need to say. So when I was living and working in Europe, I worked in industry a little bit. I worked at Bosch Système de Freinage, which means Bosch braking systems, and then I worked in an advertising agency called Young and Rubicam in Germany, and I realized that really wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I had children, and after that I realized how much I liked working with children and with young people, and that was kind of a consistent thing that had happened throughout my life, and so I decided to become a teacher. And language teaching is what I'm really passionate about. I really like learning about language acquisition theory. I just really like learning about languages. I also learned the languages I speak very differently. So German I learned because my mother spoke with me. French I learned from school. So I have a lot of tips up my sleeve, but I do want you to know this is a very beginning course. You're not going to come out fluent by any means, but you'll learn a lot about the culture, and it'll be up to you how much language you learn. If you want to learn more language, you could also get an audio method at the library. I like the Pimsleur method. When I travel to another country, I try to learn a little bit before I go, so it's kind of up to you how far you take the language component of this course. I did try to increase the language component. I try to, tweak the lessons based on student feedback, so I'm hoping you'll be as excited about the course as I am. This is week 1, but week 1 includes weeks 0 and 1. I try to make it week 1 manageable because you're also learning how the course works, and some people jump in, at the last minute. Maybe we'll get a few more people jumping in or jumping out of the course. So you need to do all the work for weeks 0 and 1. This week the discussion is pretty basic. You just introduce yourself. You follow the instructions, but the discussion rubric starting next week will be more evidence-based and so forth. So, next week's discussion, you really have to look at all the materials presented and make sure you refer to those. This week, we just want to get to know each other, and I've already got a lot of, met a lot of you, if you will, online, and it sounds like most of you are pretty excited to take the course, which is always fun. I did want to give you a few heads up. So this week, week 0, there are course expectations that are posted in week 0. You do want to read those carefully, but they're going to stay posted throughout the course, so you can go back to them. I want to give you a heads up about grading. It's very black and white. The course closes Tuesday night at midnight every week. The week, not the course, the lesson, sorry. The lesson for that week closes Tuesday night at midnight, so all the work has to be done at that time. Late work is not accepted, simply because if you start turning in work late all the time, you'll fall behind and it's really hard to catch up. If there's a good reason to be late, communicate with me, have your site coordinator communicate with me. And this week 1 and week 2, I'm a little more flexible because, you're trying to figure things out. I'm not going to give you zeros because you made a mistake. However, I will grade once the week is over, and you may have a 0 in your grade book for something you didn't realize you were supposed to do. So what I want you to do is not panic. Contact me and say, hey, I didn't realize that was this, this first week or 2, I'll be a little more flexible because you're trying to figure out where everything is. So communicate with me. If you see some zeros after the week 1 is graded and you're very surprised and you thought you did everything right, just write me a note in the private topic, the PT, and I will most certainly update your grade. But I put the zeros there so you know what I'm finding and what I'm seeing. Okay, let's see. What else do I have? Oh yeah, new lessons start Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. That's when I set them to get going. And if you have any questions about the lessons, communicate with me. You can also post questions, general questions in the general question forum area. If you think that it might be something that other classmates didn't understand, feel free to post there. At any rate, I think I've said enough to get you started. Remember to scroll down on this homepage for the other information, and always look at the homepage. I try to give you hints and tips, things to make your life easier. Every week I post a new message at the beginning of the week on Wednesday. So that being said, à plus means see you soon, and have a great class. Ciao!